Tim-Balster Magic. This is Tim.
Countyfairgrounds and Pool K here. Do I have the Wheels of Agriculture game show?
This is the guy. This is Tim, yes.
Hi, Mr. Tim. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
Busy, normal.
That's good.
Okay.
Better than the alternative.
Oh, I don't know. The tech is getting to me. Okay. All right. So you have been Wheels of Agriculture for how long?
Well, since about 2019. I did a kind of a soft rollout with it in 2017 and put the first one out on the fair market in 2019.
You know, I always ask how you got into something like this. Have you done anything else?
Well, I've had game shows in the fair market for since 2004. The game show originally started in 2000 at a theme park, and that was called Kid-Bucks-Game-Show, and it was very successful in the fair market, and eventually I wanted to do something that was more educational, and instead of being an action-based game, it would be more of a trivia-based game, and that's how the evolution occurred.
Okay.
To go to Wheels of Agriculture.
Are there other companies out there that do things like this? Because I haven't run across one, I don't think.
Well, there are other game show companies. They're typically more just general trivia like movies and sports and stuff like that.
Okay.
To my knowledge, I'm the first guy that's really themed it to an agricultural slant.
Okay. Are you a married man?
I am. Mm-hmm.
And you got kids?
2 of them. Just
what are they
one's
all?
Out of college. One's out of college, and one's in the senior year.
So, what does your family think of this? Well,
they've been born and raised in it, so I think they think I should slow down. I've got 4 units of this out now. So I'm a pretty busy guy. I send other teams out with it. I think they're wanting me to hit the brakes a little bit, but I found a good thing, and I'm just having a hard time taking my foot off the gas on this.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun to me too, and I've got a lot of fair experiences. Heaven knows I've been at this for a long time, and I haven't run across anything like you before. So where are you booked now?
Well, right now, literally this weekend, we're kind of far and wide. I've got my unit number 1 is up at Kuiper's Family Farm in Maple Park. It's a pumpkin patch, agritourism farm. Another one is at another northwestern suburb, Happy Types Pumpkin Patch in Lincolnshire, Illinois. Is where Unit 4 is. I got Unit 3 down in Mortimer Farms in Dewey, Humboldt, Arizona. And the other one, number 2, is down at the Georgia National Fair. They opened today, actually, I believe. So we're kind of all over the country right now. Wow.
So are there any states you haven't participated in that you'd like to get into?
Oh, gosh. We try to kind of stay east of the Rockies. I don't know if there's any state in particular that I'm looking to get to, but, I love to travel, and gold is where you find it. So as long as I can get it rooted well, that's the main thing.
Okay. I hate to tell you this, but Arizona's west.
Yeah, I know. But it was a pretty drive.
Yeah, I imagine. I've driven them a few times too. Okay, all right. So which show was the first one that you started with?
Well, my magic show is what I started with, and was a magician, and still am. Didn't do a ton with magic in the fair market, primarily because earlier in my career I did 21 seasons at a theme park outside of Chicago called Santa's Village. And so that took up most of my summers during the fair season. But as that was winding down, my Kid-Bucks-Game-Show had come online at that point, and we decided that for fairs, we were going to put that show out there instead of the magic show, primarily because there's dozens of magicians out there. There's every county has its own local magician, but that game show was very unique, and it sold very well, so it was an easy sell. And it just checked a lot of boxes. We got a lot of kids involved of varying ages. The parents love to see their kids on stage and take pictures of them. The kids love being on stage. And, this is the kind of show that kids would come back to time and time again.
Okay.
And,
I've interviewed a lot of magicians. Yes, there's a lot of magicians.
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of us.
Okay, this Kid Bucks game show. You want to tell me a little bit about it?
Sure.
What's involved? And do you bring everything when you go to set up?
All of my productions, we come in completely self-contained. I have trailers that open up into stages, so we're raised off the ground. We're a grounds attraction, but we don't work on the ground. We actually work on a raised stage, which gives us, I feel, gives us an advantage over a lot of the other so-called grounds acts that are literally on the ground. Just brings it up to a new height and a new level and makes it more visible. But we come in self-contained. All we need is some seating and some electric and an audience and a check at the end, of course. But the way that show works, we start out by 10 minutes prior to showtime. We hand out some raffle tickets to the kids that are in line to do the show. Anyone between 3 and 15 can get a raffle ticket. We've got 100 tickets on a pad. At the top of the show, then, we have a raffle system. We draw 9 balls out of a raffle machine, and then those balls that correspond with the tickets that are being held in the audience, those kids come up. So it's a very random selection process. We then group them up into 3 groups as best we can according to size and apparent physical ability. And then there's 3 rounds of games played. So you've got 3 players on each round. Each round will provide a semifinalist that moves on to the 4th round. All of our games are, fun themed games like Toss Your Cookies might be a good example. It was one of the earlier games I put out in the early 2000s. And those were like cookie jars that had lids on them that were on a motor so that the lids would articulate up and down. The kids would be dressed in chef hats, and they'd have spatulas they would pick up plastic cookies with, and then they kind of balance it on the spatula as they scurry across the stage. And then they got to toss it into that cookie jar, but they got to time their toss so that the lid doesn't block the shot. So there's always some extra little twist that makes the game a little more challenging. So that's an example of one of our games. After the second round of games, our 3rd round is usually what I call a total audience participation game. And that game is designed to where everyone in the audience can get involved in the action, whether it's launching a rubber chicken through the air or throwing a ring that the contestants on the stage have to catch on their Jedi sword. It's just a great way to get everybody involved. So if you didn't get picked for the show to be one of the main contestants, you can still get involved and feel included.
Wow.
After that 3rd round, then we've got 3 semifinalists ranging in age from, could be a 3-year-old going against a 15-year-old. So you can't do anything with skill. It's got to be luck. So that's where we have our big prize wheel with numbers on it. And each contestant spins that, and whoever gets the highest number is our grand champion. And they go inside the Kid Bucks booth, and they grab what we call Kid Bucks out of the air. And then we count them up and trade them in for a prize based on how many have been collected. So it's a really fun, interactive show.
Okay. So they actually walk away from the thing with a prize. The winner does.
Oh yeah, the winner gets a larger prize, and then all the kids, all 9 contestants that have competed in the games, do win a smaller consolation prize. So anyone that comes up on stage is going home with a prize.
Okay, so you're doing this show at this fair. How many times a day do you do it?
Typically, we do 3 shows a day, and the Kid Bucks show runs a pretty solid 30 minutes. And then plus there's about a 10-minute pre-show period where we're, playing the music, getting people attracted, joking around with them, things like that.
Okay. All right. So do you do more than one of these shows at a fair?
Yeah, we do three per day. And is that what you're asking me?
No, I wanted to know if you're running Kid Bucks game show at one county fair, say. Do you also run the Magic on the Farm show there at the same time?
Typically, we have one production at a time out because all the productions have a pretty fair amount of props on them. The one exception would be our the Wheels of Agriculture game show has a strolling attraction that partners with it called the Trivia Tractor, and those both productions utilize some of the same equipment and props. So that's kind of the exception to that.
Oh, it's a strolling? It's a strolling game show?
We would do three. This is for Wheels of Ag now. We would do 3 stage shows, and those are each a half hour long. And then the Trivia Tractor is kind of like a scaled down version of it. where the garden tractor pulls the contestant booths out to different areas of the fairgrounds and does short little, 5-minute mini shows. So you get both the strolling and the stage components with that, with those setups, the Wheels of Ag setups.
Well, it sounds to me like you got something good to hang on here. I haven't heard much of anything that's quite like this before, and I would think that the fairs would really like it.
It's really gone over big. I mean, that's why I started with one unit, and the next year I had to put 2 more out, and I've added technically a 4th one this year. 3 of them have their own stage. The 4th one is just like the props, like the contestant booths and stuff, and I would put that on an existing stage. A good example of that would be like the York State Fair in Pennsylvania. They've got a real nice ag building where they do ag education activities, and they've got a stage in there, so we can just put our props in there and hang up some banners that have the same scenery that we would have on our portable stages. We've got that printed on vinyl banners, so we can carry over the same looks to an indoor presentation.
You do realize that I have a lot of traffic, so you might get a lot more bookings.
We hope so. We sure welcome them.
Okay, let's talk about this trivia. The trivia tractor thing is different than the Wheels of Agriculture?
Yeah, I mean, slightly different. In the Wheels of Agriculture show, we've got our money booth is shaped like a tractor, the facade of a tractor. The rear wheel of the tractor, it's a bit, depending on which unit, it's between a 36-inch and a 48-inch wheel. The spokes of that have the different categories on them. Might be plants, animals, local agriculture. I can't remember how many off the top of my head topics there are, but there's a number of different topics. The front wheel of the tractor has point values on it, 5, 10, and 15 points. So one of the cool things about that show is we can get even really, really young kids that wouldn't be able to answer a question, but they can come up there sometimes with, in their mom or dad's arms. They can spin that wheel and feel included, like their little brothers and sisters, or rather the bigger brothers and sisters are in the show. Well, guess what? They get to participate too by spinning the wheels.
Oh, so that's cool.
And this gives us a randomly chosen topic and point value. Let's say it was an animals question. Now, animals, that's a category where we might ask you a question about an animal, or we might play the sound of an animal on our special music system, and then you got to guess, what animal am I hearing? When the contestants think they know it, they slam their hand on a big red button that's in front of them, and the boots have lights on them. Those lights will come on, and what it does is it locks out the other 2 contestant booths. It's just like on Jeopardy on television. So whoever hits the button first, boom, they're the one that gets to answer it. If they get it correct, those points that were on the front wheel of the tractor, they're going to go on the display. If they don't have the correct answer, this is a great thing because now we get to take it out to the audience, and anybody, any age out in the audience can raise their hand, and if I call them and they're correct, they're going to get a prize, and we're also going to put some points on what we call our bonus bale. Now, the bonus bale, that adds the whole element of luck and suspense to the show because there's one spot on that wheel that's got a picture of a hay bale on it. When the wheel lands on that, we've got a special dice with the 3 team numbers on it, and we roll that. One lucky team will get all the points that have accumulated on that bonus bale. So what can happen is you've got a team that's in last place. Now they get the bonus bale, and boom, suddenly they're in first place. So it's really a cool way to kind of flip the luck of the show.
Okay. So did you put these games together all by yourself?
Yeah, I sourced out a lot of different components. There are other game show, commercial game show things out in the market, but a lot of them, the screens tend to wash out in the sun, which I'm not a big fan of that. So I searched around and found some digital displays where you can see the scores lit up in direct sunlight, which is really a good thing. So everyone knows how much points each team has. And then the questions all, I put together from various sources of information. I'm actually don't come from an agricultural background, other than both my mom and my dad were both, born and raised in rural farming communities. My father's a minister, my mom was a nurse. So I've been a show business guy all my life. So when I wanted to do this, I really had to, do a lot of research and find out, a lot about agriculture in order to put this on. So it's been I tell you, I've got a healthy respect for farmers now. That's for sure. They work really hard, and there's a lot of risk that goes on, and they often get kind of a black eye from the public for this side or the other. But they work hard, and they provide us our food and materials to make the life we lead happen.
Okay. What about magic on the farm?
Magic on the farm. That kind of a funny story. I've been a magician all my life. I never coupled it with an ag message, but I had a situation where I was going from the Nebraska State Fair with Wheels of Agriculture show to the Sandwich Fair, where I would normally do just a straight ahead, fun magic show. But I didn't have time to go home and back to home base and get one of my more generic looking stages. So I had the whole, ag show stage with me because it was coming in hot, So I'm like, well, you know what? If I'm going to have this whole farm thing, I'm going to put together an ag magic show. So that's kind of what I did. I had a number of ideas kind of rumble around in my head of ways that we could use magic to illustrate where our food comes from. And so I just kind of quickly put those into action. And one of the routines I do in that I already had that existed. So it was kind of a combination of doing things I already had knew and things that I knew would do well to get a message across about where our food comes from. And so that kind of just got thrown together really just for that one fair, but boy, did it go over good. And so, all right, well, let's put a flyer together on it, and, well, gosh, now it's selling. So it's like kind of took on a little life of its own there.
Okay, so you pretty much, for all the shows that you do, you bring your own stuff, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
okay, that's important.
Electric and seating. We are truly a self-contained act.
Okay, all right. So you do your booking, and you say you were a magician. Are you still doing magic shows?
Yeah, still do magic shows. I do that more in the non-fair sector of my business than I do in the fairs. In the fairs, I'm primarily the game shows, but I do some. At Kane County Fair, I'll do magic shows, just a straight-up magic show at Kane County Fair. Been there for, 29 years maybe.
Wow.
Feeling old now.
Okay, well, do you do your own booking?
I do my own booking. I also have a handful of agents that I work through as well. So I found it best to play nice in the sandbox with when you're working with agents. There's some fairs you're only going to get into them if you're going to go through a particular agent, and that's just the way it is, So you got to work with them, and you also got to cooperate. If you get an inquiry from a fair from one agent, and then another one calls and says, "Hey, we're looking for this," you got to tell them, "Hey, you know what? The XYZ agency already asked me about this one, so I'm going to respect it. And if the client wants to buy it, I'm going to run it through them."
Okay, so how do people reach you?
The best way to do it is to go to my website, which is FairShows.Biz, like showbiz. FairShows.Biz, and that is basically a landing page for 3 websites. From that page, you can click on a link that will take you to the Wheels of Agriculture website. Another will take you to the Kidbucks-Game-Show website. And another one will take you to the page of my just general magic website, but specifically to the page that relates to the Magic on the Farm show. You can get to the rest of my magic page from that as well, but that's when you click on it, that'll take you there. And I believe there's a link on there too that tells about the kind of the trivia tractor, so you can get an overview of that. So for a fair or festival, that's the website you want to go to, because you can get to all of my different products and services from that landing page.
Okay. So you don't have a booking agency?
I do. Well, I'm not. Well, let me rephrase that. I work with other booking agencies. I am not a booking agency myself per se, but I would consider myself more of a producer, because I've got the Kid Buck Show, Magic on the Farm, Wheels of Ag, Trivia Tractor, and I book those attractions myself, as well as other agents booking them. So I'm really more of a producer than I am an agent. If you call me up and say, hey, I want a stilt walker for my fair, I'm going to kick you to another agent.
Yep. You know, you're making me tired to listen to you. But, okay. So do you do anything special for Christmas? That would be my last question.
You know, I do. We had a show called, still have it actually, Season's Greetings Magic Show. And my wife and I do that one. She's dressed as an elf for that show, and I'm just in a kind of a festive holiday magic costume for that. And we do a whole little storyline about respecting other people's feelings and beliefs. And we talk about the fact that, you know, that Christmas isn't the only holiday that's celebrated during the holiday season. So it's real, like, you know, commercial, you know, toy soldiers and snow white doves and making snow happen, things like that. It's not a religious message or anything like that. Just a fun, good moral thing. And that was when we toured with extensively in the New York area with Theater Works USA. We did a lot of performance arts centers and schools and stuff. So, but that's kind of our Christmas one. And one of the nice things I do, I'm a member of the Showman's League of America, and every year we do a Christmas party for a school that's in an underprivileged area. And I kind of head that up and bring in a few other acts, and we put on a big Christmas show every year for that school. And that's really rewarding because for a lot of those kids, the toy that the Showman's League gives them at the conclusion of that show and the popcorn and the cotton candy, that's about all they're going to get for Christmas because it comes from a very low income area. So it's always a fun little thing to do, and makes me feel good that I can bring a little Christmas cheer to some underprivileged kids.
Okay, I've been thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, and we'll get this up, and I'll post it a bunch of places, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, I sure appreciate it, Kay. Thank you so much. Sorry I was so long to get a hold of. It's just once the summer starts, as you can gather from our conversation here, it takes off like a freight train, and I just hardly have a moment to catch my breath.
Hey, Tim, you're talking to the wrong person.
Okay.
Believe me, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
All the best to you. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.